Hello, everyone. I am super excited about tonight. So, of course, you already know about Inside and Out Consulting. We've made 5 years this year of providing mental health services from counseling to coaching to group counseling, all of those amazing things. So, I just want to introduce to you one of our amazing team members, Coach Weslee. Weslee has so many different hats. Okay. Coach Weslee is an actor, a coach, a teacher, an influencer, a singer, just amazing. But today, Coach Weslee is going to be talking to us about creating boundaries. So I am going to bring him up and I'm going to remove myself so we can focus on the important person of tonight, Mr. Coach Weslee. Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Dr. Sasha. I appreciate that introduction. Hello, everybody. Listen. I tell you what, I am so freaking excited to be here. And I'm going to talk about this topic here. Creating healthy boundaries is a very important topic for me. And I'm really just excited to be here and to share with you. Um, Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. What is a healthy boundary? Uh, um, Healthy boundaries are those things that uh, you establish for your peace. I'm gonna say it again. Healthy boundaries are those things that you establish for your peace and for your mental well-being. All of those things, your physical well-being, right? You see, I am what I call an altruistic person, right? An altruistic person is one who loves to give, who gives at the expense of himself. And for so many years, um, I didn't know how to say no. I mean, I would always say yes. I used to pride myself on being the one that's always there for everybody else when there are challenges and problems going on. Yeah, I will be the one that would solve them. If somebody has an issue, then I'm gonna figure it out. If you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning to come pick you up, then I got you. I'm picking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Um, but listen to me. Let me tell you something. When I got to the place where I decided enough is enough, then guess what? I got my peace. It's really that simple. Okay. Now let me tell you something. That peace is so important. I found that peace is more important even than disappointing someone. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am known in the entertainment world as an actor, a singer, acting coach, vocal coach. I'm literally actually on set right now. I just finished shooting a scene in this phenomenal film that's going to be coming out soon, and you'll be hearing a lot about it. So I'm literally on set. I had to find some place to go and sit and chat with you guys for a minute. But I knew that we had this situation going on tonight, and it's very important. I find that so many people, they're a lot like I am. I am the oldest of five children, um, and all five of us have different fathers. So we are the epitome of dysfunctional, right? And so, what does that have to do with anything? I'm glad you asked. That means that I grew up taking care of things, taking care of my brother and sisters, taking care of people, even taking care of my mom. Um, the father thing was never consistent. You know what I mean? He was never there. And as a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I didn't even know who my father was, right? But what happened is I was always the one that was solving all the problems. I was the one that was fixing everything. And then I didn't realize it, but I was draining myself. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Are there any people who they put everybody else in front of them? You know, there's a definition of love that says to help others at the expense of yourself, and then lust is to take care of yourself at the expense of others, right? I don't necessarily agree with that anymore. Now I understand the principle. That means that you have to show up as your whole complete self today. right? What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. That means that as the head of my house, as the oldest boy, um, I was responsible for everything and everybody, and so everything fell on me. But then when I realized that some of that stuff was not my responsibility, my mother was strung out on drugs for as long as I've known her. She's been on marijuana to start. It was a gateway drug. Then pills to wake up, pills to go to sleep, right? And then cocaine, and ultimately crack cocaine. Yes, crack cocaine. My mom was a crackhead, and that was one of the hardest things in the world to see my mother go through that, through those changes. When she finally decided that she wanted to get help for real, then what I had to do, um, as part of the treatment, was to go there with her. And I went through the treatment with her. And I found out that I was a codependent enabler. Now, a codependent is one who is going through whatever it is you're going through with you while you're going through it, right? But an enabler is one who does those things that cripple you and that hold you up in your shortcomings. So, what does that mean? I'm glad you asked that too. You guys are asking some great questions. That means that means that what I did was um, whenever she needed something, I did it. Whenever she wanted something, I gave it to her. Right? I never told her no. She would, when I was at home, she would spend all of her money on drugs, getting high and doing everything, gambling even. And then I would be going to work as a high school student, and I would bring all of my money home. I would bring my money home and give it to the household. So I was an enabler. But when I went through the rehab situation, I found out that I needed to set some boundaries. I was 19 at the time that my mom went through her rehab. I was already out of the house. During that time, I found out that no was a complete sentence. I'm gonna say that again. No is a complete sentence. I'm gonna circle back to that. But when I was with my mom at home, and I had moved out when I was 17 and was on my own when I was 18, my sister got raped. Word has it that my mother set it up in exchange for some crack cocaine. That's a traumatic situation, right? So all of these trauma things that I went through in my life are the things that are helping me now to be able to help others. That's one of the reasons why I decided to become a counselor. One of the reasons I decided to become a life coach. One of the reasons I decided to reach out and help other people, because I went through it. Every form of abuse that you can imagine, I went through it. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse. And I had to set those boundaries. So don't get it twisted. Sometimes setting boundaries is difficult, especially when you're a parent or when you are responsible for somebody. Setting boundaries is a difficult thing when you want to see your baby do well. Anybody have any people that you want them to win more than they want to win? You work harder for them at their dreams than they do. Yeah, I've got several people like that that are in my life now, and I've had people like that in my life all along because I would see their potential. I would see what they're capable of. I would see what they're able to do, how they're able to perform. I go, wow, don't you see that you could really do this? You could really make it. You could really do. But they didn't want to do anything. One example is I had a young man. I used to work with a nonprofit, and we would employ people at the dome or at the big games and stuff, right? And so what would happen? Well, we wouldn't employ them. We would give them a stipend. You know, it's nonprofit. Amen. but but this young man, I gave him the instructions, the criteria that I gave him the criteria of what's needed to come. Wear your black shoes and all that stuff, and bring your ID. And so this young man came up to the location without his black shoes. So he got sent home. Then he came up again without his ID. And he lived only a few moments away, so he could have gone home and come back. But instead, he decided he didn't want to work that day. And then he turned around and asked me to borrow some money. Yeah, that doesn't work. So what I had to do was I had to set that boundary that I need to make sure that I'm doing all I can do, that I'm willing to do, and that's it. Because if I had turned around and given him money, then that means that I don't respect my own boundaries. Hello, somebody. I haven't even said any. So the thing is, guys, you have to know your worth in setting that boundary. Okay, you have to know your worth in setting those boundaries. You have to know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You got to know that you are important. And one of the things about setting those healthy boundaries is you have to make sure that you are in a place to where you can show up properly. Okay, so here we go. Hi, Sandy. Where you can show up properly. Anybody ever flew on the plane? Well, for those who haven't, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the safety spiel that they give you. And they tell you where all the exits are and how your seat becomes a flotation device. And then there's one line they said, in the unlikely event of a loss in cabin pressure, the panel above your head will open, revealing oxygen mask. And even though the mask may not inflate, oxygen is flowing freely. Hello, Taronda. But it says, if you're traveling with small children or people needing assistance, put the mask over yourself first. I'm going to say that again. If you're traveling with small children or people needing assistance, put the mask over yourself first. That is so important. Why? Because you have to show up as your full, complete self in order to be able to help somebody else. If I have taken my mask and I've given it away to my younger person or my child or what have you, then I become weak and I'm not able to show up properly. One of my favorite books that I've ever read is a book called Balance by Touré Roberts. And it teaches us how to balance life. Many times people think that you can't do for yourself, that it's selfish to do for yourself. But I dare say it's more selfish to not do for yourself. It's more selfish to always give, and you have nothing for yourself. You're supposed to give from your abundance, from your overflow. Right? That's the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to give from your overflow. But what happens is, and the way it's supposed to go is, we continue to get poured into, right? And then we got the cup, and then it pours over, and that overflow is what we're supposed to bless others with. But what most of us do, I know me, I'm guilty of it, is I would take that cup and I would pour a little bit and pour a little bit and pour a little bit. But next thing you know, my cup is empty, and then I can't show up. I can't show up. You have to be able to show up, and you show up fully and completely as yourself, your full self, not a portion of yourself. Huh? And so how do you do that? You have to recharge. You just like when you are driving your car, when your car gets out of gas, you have to fill it up. Same thing with yourself. You've got to fill yourself up. You cannot in good conscience just continue to give, and then you crash. You have a nervous breakdown. So what I've done is I have decided to make sure that I'm living a balanced life. In this book, Touré, he has 2 chapters. There's no team in I. There is no team in I. Not there's no I in team. There's no team in I. So that means that there are times when you have to show up for yourself fully and completely and let everybody else fend for themselves. You got to let them have it. Do something for you. Just you. Nobody else, just you. No agenda, just you. Take time out. We have our weekly check-ins at Inside and Out Consulting. And I tell you, one of the things that we continue to harp upon ourselves and to each other is make sure that you do your self-care. Self-care is important. because so many of us, we want to give, and we put our children first, we put our husbands and wives first, and all that stuff. That's cool. I get it. I understand. I really do, because you want to see them win, right? But again, if you're not there, if you're not there completely, guess what? They can't win. The coach is asleep on the sidelines because he's crashed. Okay, so you find you some time. I don't care if it's 15 minutes, if it's an hour, find you some time each week to do something for yourself. That helps you to be replenished. The other chapter that he does, I want to highlight, is the power of no. There's a chapter called the power of no. No, I said it before, is a complete sentence. Many times we find ourselves wanting to give reasons and excuses. Well, see, I can't do that because, the last time, well, I really can't do that because no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Anybody ever lend somebody some money? And then then when it's time for them to pay you back, they seem to mysteriously forget. Yeah, that's the way it is a lot of times. Or they may be like, man, or you ask them about that money or whatever it is, or even not even money. It could be the lawnmower or whatever it is, and you have to borrow your own stuff back. But what you have to do is you have to. Somebody taught me that when you are lending money, I don't lend any money anymore, for real. You know what I do now is I prepare it as a gift. Because that way, if you are expecting it back, it doesn't come, then you got an attitude. You get what I'm saying? But the power of no, the power of no, the power of no. In Teray's book, he says that you need to reserve your yeses for you and the no's for the other people. What happens? Why? I'm glad you asked these questions. These questions are great questions that you guys are asking. If you have given away all of your yeses, then when it comes time for you to show up for you, then you have nothing left to give. Huh? Hello, somebody. If you have given away all of your money or lent all your money away and you have no more money, and so now when this great opportunity comes along that you need money to do, then you don't have any money to give. Or you have jam-packed your schedule full of everything for everybody else, 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 everybody else. And then when it's time for you, then you have no energy. If you have a spouse or significant other and you have given everything that you've given to everybody else, then you have no time for them. You got to balance it out, guys. So here's some things that I'd like to share with you for setting those healthy boundaries. When you want to say no, say no. If you want to say yes, say yes. It's just that simple. Even the Bible says, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Okay? That way right there, you'll be at peace. So many of us, we do all of these, make all these rhymes and these. No, just yes and no. Oprah Winfrey, she shared a story about how when she first came into her monies and stuff, and how she would just give it all away. Tyler Perry had the same thing. He would just give it all away. Steve Harvey said the best way to help broke people is not to be one of them. But I want to share the story that Oprah shared about saying no. She said that she was going to try it because she would always been giving everything. But Stevie Wonder, she told us, so it was asking her about donating to a charity. And then she was like, no, I don't want to donate to the charity. She just said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he said, okay, and moved on. Woo! The freedom that she experienced there. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes when we are thinking about other folks and what they're going to think, what they're going to say, whatever, and sometimes you just say no, then they respect that. Yeah. I live my life by the principle of the 4 agreements. And there's so much in this topic, right? But the 4 agreements. There's so much in this topic about setting boundaries. I can't get to everything. I just want to just throw some nuggets out there at you guys. But please follow Inside and Out Consult on Instagram, and anyway you see Inside and Out, follow us. We got it going on over there. But the 4 agreements. The first one is be impeccable with your words. Be impeccable with your words. Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you can't do it, then communicate. Right? The other agreement is don't assume anything. Many times folks say assume that something is happening, that somebody's thinking this, that, or the other, blah, 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 and they won't even think about you. The other is don't take things personally. Many times when you tell folks yes or no, they take it personally. That's on them. It's not on you. Their opinion of you is none of your business. And the last one is always do your best. Every time you show up, I said it before, show up as your full self and do your best. And how do you do your best? You make sure that you're balanced. So those 4 agreements help in all walks of life, right? So that's one thing. And then the other thing, guys, love yourself. I'm going to say it again. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to ensure that people know how to handle you. What do you mean? I'm glad you asked that too. If somebody is speaking to you inappropriately, or they're touching on you, or they putting their hands on you in an inappropriate way, or they just, whatever it is that you don't like, just love yourself enough to say, hey, that's not cool. I don't appreciate being spoken to in that manner. Right? And I'm gonna tell you what be killing folks too. When you check them without emotion, you're not gonna be, excuse me, you don't put your hands, you don't have to do all that. Just say, hey, let's not do that. Hey, don't speak to me in that manner. Thank you so much. And you always give that respect. Walk in gratitude. That gratitude, what does that have to do with setting healthy boundaries? Because when you're grateful, you have more peace. When you're grateful, you receive more blessings. They all work together. Setting healthy boundaries. When there are people, there are some people that are subjected to, like, sexual harassment and stuff like that. If you're nice looking, you got a nice body and everything and so forth. So it's not okay for people to speak to you in a manner that's not comfortable. Check them. I say all the time, I'm very confrontational. I'm not combative. I ain't going back and forth with you. But I'm going to let you know that I do like that or I don't like that. So be confrontational. Take your emotion out. You see what happens when emotions are high, intellect is low. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. That means if you've allowed somebody to push all your buttons and push them, and then you get mad, and then you say or do something that you shouldn't say or do because you're not thinking. So think. Don't allow your emotions to get so high in anger or even in infatuation. You're so caught up, ooh, she's so fat, or he's so handsome. Ooh, and so you ignore the signs. You ignore all the flags because your intellect is low. Right? Respect yourself enough to know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Respect yourself enough to know that you are enough. So the Bible says that a man that finds a wife finds a good thing, right? And so that's cool, right? But what does that mean? I'm glad you asked that too. That means that she's already ready. She got it going on. And you too, man, you got to have it going on too. Right? You got to be complete, whole, yourself. And you join with somebody else who's complete and whole. You see, people think that marriage or couples and relationships are 50-50. I say nay. They are 100-100. Instead of 1 + 1 is 1 times 1. And so that means you're that much stronger. Hello, somebody. And so then what I say in every relationship that you find yourself in is establish your expectations and your boundaries. See, a lot of times people don't know what to expect from folk. They be assuming things. Remember we talked about don't assume anything. You assume. You said that you're gonna love me, but did they? Don't assume. So you got to be hot in order to let a relationship flourish. that have healthy boundaries. You got to be honest. You got to be open. You got to be transparent. Honest, open, and transparent. But guess what? You got to start that with yourself. You set healthy boundaries for yourself by looking within yourself, seeing what things you like, what things you don't like, what things make you rock, what things make you roll. And when you know what those things are, then you gravitate toward them. One of the exercises that I tried with my wife before we even got married, um, we had this game that helped to create a communication. And each week we would talk, and we would have a talking points. And we get three things about ourselves that we like, and three things about ourselves that we don't like, and three things about the other that we like, and three things about the other that we don't like, and then we'll work on them. One of the keys to setting healthy boundaries is open, honest communication. You can't hold anybody accountable for something they don't know that they've been held accountable for. You can't hold anybody accountable if they don't know what to expect. So let it be known in every relationship. When you go on the job, you know what they expect of you, and you know when you're going to get paid, and you know how much you're going to get paid. Those are your expectations. Therefore, you want them to be there. Now, in the boundaries, you don't expect to come to work and be sexually harassed. You don't expect to come to work and be talked down to, right? So it's very key, guys, that you really hold fast to who you are. Don't lose yourself in other people. Now, there are some of us who have gone through trauma, as you have shared, as I've shared earlier, that I went through some trauma. Because you have those trauma bonds with those people that have also gone through some of the same trauma that you've gone through. Be clear and understand that it's okay. It's okay for you to come out. It's okay for you to come out of that trauma. It's okay for you to flourish. Another way to set healthy boundaries, even for yourself, is to speak to yourself. Song says, speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. That's what David did in the Bible. He encouraged himself. And I know we got people from different walks of life and different religions and that sort of thing. I get it. But certain principles are true, right? You got to watch what you say, watch your mouth. Even concerning yourself. One of my daily affirmations is I am an internationally known, highly respected, and sought after entertainment professional who is paid handsomely for my services. I'll say that again for the people in the back. I am an internationally known, highly respected, and sought after entertainment professional who is paid handsomely for my services. Listen, let me tell you something. My phone be ringing all the time. I get all kinds of auditions and all types of invitations to go places and so forth and so on, roles. People create roles for me. You can speak it for yourself as well. If it's not entertainment, what is it about you? You got to remind yourself, be careful of what you even say to yourself. Can't is a cuss word as far as I'm concerned. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Speak life to yourself. Make a practice of writing down your daily goals, writing down those things that you're grateful for daily. Make a practice of speaking life to yourself. I am amazing. I am phenomenal. I am a winner. I am more than a conqueror. I am excellent. People ask me, how are you? I'm amazing, all three words. Because guess what? Anything you say after I am is. So if you say I'm a winner or I'm a loser, you're right. If you say I'm rich, I'm poor, you're right. So watch your mouth. Even as you're speaking to yourself, watch your mouth. Be careful of what you are speaking out of your mouth, even to others. I don't allow people to speak death or negativity around me. I don't do negativity. Oh yeah. If folks got the little attitudes and stuff around you, get away from them. Sometimes one of the keys to setting a healthy boundary is just get away. Go on about your business. Don't let them have their space. I demand my peace. I demand it because I give it. I desire to thrive in an atmosphere of love and joy and peace, harmony, all those things, right? So since I desire to do so, that's what I give. Man, this time went by fast. But I'm telling you, guys, you have to You have to. You have to. You have to protect yourself, protect your peace, right? And be kind. I'm going to give you this one last acronym, and then this one I think that God divinely downloaded. It says soaring to success in stealth mode. So a stealth plane, what it does is it flies under the radar. That means it's hidden from view. So the acronym that I have for you is HIDDEN. H is for humility. That doesn't mean that you're a doormat. That just means that you walk and realize and understand that there's somebody greater, there's something greater. Be humble. As talented as I am, and God has hooked me up, I am very talented. Praise God. But I make sure that I give him that glory, right? But I'm not arrogant. See, the difference between arrogance and confidence, as far as I'm concerned, confidence is how you feel about yourself and your abilities. Arrogance has to do with the way you feel about others and that you're better than them, right? So humility. I is integrity. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Be integral, be a person of your word. D, now I have two D's. One is for drive, keep going. The other is for determination. Don't give up, right? And then somebody else gave me a D one time, which says discipline. Discipline. You got to be disciplined. If you're trying to lose weight, then stop eating all that fast food. I'm just saying. Anyway, E is for excellence. Everything you do, as I said in the 4 agreements, always do your best. And let me tell you this, if your best isn't good enough, then make your best better. You do that by studying. But D is for excellence. Always be excellent. Show up as your full 100% self and do your very best. And N is for nice. Just be nice, right? It's amazing how how much further you can get in life by just being nice. There's an old saying, if you see a person without a smile, give them yours. You know what I mean? They're contagious. And so you set the healthy boundaries by presenting to others what you want to be mirrored back to you. So if you want joy, you give joy. You want peace, you give peace. You want love, you give love. You get where I'm going, right? Now, there are some people that say, I'm going to match whatever it is you give me, I'm going to match it back. And I get it. But I just decided that I'm going to do unto others that I would have them do unto me, not necessarily as they do unto me, right? So listen, man, listen, we have to do this again. But I enjoyed speaking with you guys. It's so much in this topic, and I still have a bunch more points that I want to bring out, but I ain't got no time. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Dr. Sasha, for allowing me the opportunity to share. Any comments or whatever? Where do we go from here?
You did an awesome job. I just have to say, this was just definitely needed. I knew you were going to do this. I'm glad we have you on our team with Inside and Out Consulting. So you guys, if you want to book with him, he's a mental health professional, and he has some available slots with us so we can get you in. But Coach Weslee, awesome job. When I say awesome job, I don't know if you know sometimes how great you are at speaking, but you need to know that you need to be tooting your own horn because you did amazing. I'm going to share just a few of the comments that they have. They say you did an awesome job. A word for the masses. They have been going and going, and I've been trying to keep up. But I just want you guys to know you can always go back and replay this. Again, if you want to reach out to us to get set up for some therapy with Coach Weslee, you're more than welcome. It's inside and out consult.org. So I'm going to show that on the screen. Also, remember, follow Coach Weslee on Instagram and all platforms, and you might see some very interesting things like his amazing voice and the singing that he does. And also remember to follow Inside and Out Consulting on Instagram. Okay. So you guys, love you much. I hope you have an amazing night. Thank you so much again, Coach Weslee. And that's it, y'all. Good night.
Till next time. Bye bye.